Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
Hello all, welcome to Ganesh IAS Academy. This is the special session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the previous year UPSC Mains economic question. Let's begin the session. This question was asked in 2015. It is a 150 words, 10 mark question. They gave a 10 mark for this question, but it is worth a 15 mark question because it having a lot of questions within that. And also you have to address everything within this 150 words. That is the most challenging part of this question. But it is worth a 15 mark question. First thing is, the question is speaking about the land contract farming and land leasing, and also it is also speaking about the small and marginal farmers in the indirect manner. So you have to address a lot of keywords within this question, so that this question is somewhat tough when comparing to all other questions. Okay, let's begin the session. In view of the declining average size of land holdings in India, which has made agriculture non-viable for a majority of farmers, should contract farming and land leasing be promoted in agriculture? Critically evaluate the pros and cons. See, first thing is declining average size of land holding. You have to find the keywords. First keyword here, it is about declining land holding. Okay, next it is speaking about it is non-viable for a majority of farmers, means the majority of the farmer here is small and marginal farmers. So they are 85% of the India's population. Okay, so small and marginal farmer are the majority. It is non-viable for them to make any profit from that land holding. That is the thing that is saying. Okay, the question is saying next, should contract farming and land leasing be promoted in agriculture? So it is asking about a contract farming and land leasing. This is another keyword. You have to critically evaluate the pros and cons of this contract farming and land leasing for this growth of the small and marginal farmers. So the question contains lot of keywords and it is asking about lot of questions related to that keyword. So you have to address about what is contract farming, what is land leasing, and also you have to speak about how it is going to help the small and marginal farmer, and also at the same time you have to say about their negatives. How this contract farming is going to affect the small and marginal farmer in a negative manner. That is also you have to say. When it comes to land leasing, how it is going to help the small and marginal farmer, at the same time how it is going to affect them in negative manner. In that way you have to give the answer. Before that you have to give the data about the small and marginal farmer also. So within 150 words you have to address all these things. That is the toughest part of this question. Okay, but when it comes to data wise, it is more easy question, but the answering part is somewhat lengthy. That is the major issue with this question. Let's discuss it. The intro. So there are many keywords about contract farming, land leasing, and also the average size of the land holding is less. So in that scenario, what is the most appropriate intro part? That is the biggest question you will have. The reason is because it is containing the many keywords, contract farming and land leasing also. So, but the question is mainly connected to this small and marginal farmer, because in the view of declining average size of the land holding in India, which has made agriculture non-viable for a majority of the farmers. So that majority farmer is the small and marginal farmer. 85% of the India's farmer belongs to the small and marginal farming. So you have to give the data about the small and marginal farmer in the intro part. That is more important. And also afterwards you have to say about why this land holding is decreasing. We came from the independence and we did the land reform policies, By the way, we are provided the land to everyone. For the equitable distribution, we did it. But there is many flaw. Afterwards also, we tried to reform it, but still the issue of the small and marginal farmers growing on. So why it is happening? The reason is growth of industrialization. Next is urbanization. Urbanization leads to the urban sprawl or urban agglomeration. By the way, it is eating up the rural areas. So by that is the one of the reason to decreases in the land holding, and also industrialization. Most of the industrials take over the lands of the agricultural land. So that is also one of the reasons for the land holding decreasing. And the another reason is about distribution of the land within the family. For example, inheritance. So consider that there is a man, he is holding a land of 4 hectares of land. He is having 2 children, okay. So now he have to distribute it to 2. So 2 hectare for this person, 2 hectare for this person. Now this person is having two children, this person is having 2 children, means 1 hectare, 1 hectare, 1 hectare, 1 hectare. So in such a way, the land is distributed. So inheritance of the properties that lead to the increasing of the small and marginal farmers. So that is also one of the reason. After independence means around 75 years, this inheritance issue is happening. So that is also one of the reason for the division of the land leads to the growth of the small and marginal farmer. So industrialization, urbanization, and the cultural factor. All this leads to the growth of the small and marginal farmer. So for your understanding only, I said all the thing. You simply say about industrialization and urbanization and the cultural factor that lead to the growth of the small marginal farmers in India, and it is now 85% of India's farmer. So this is the intro. That is more than enough. Next part is you have to speak about why it is becoming non-viable for the majority of this farmer. Majority of the farmer is the small and marginal farmer. Why it is non-viable? Because the reason is, first reason is lack of machineries. Being a small and marginal farmer, I can't invest in the machines like tractors or any machines that will be helps to harvest or sow in my field. So that is also the major issue. So I won't have any equipments or technologies to invest in my field. That is one of the negative. By the way, my productivity of the land is very minimal and it is reduced. So I can't make many profit from my land. That is one of the issue. Next, lack of irrigation facility. Obviously, that is the major issue. First thing is I am holding a small land. For that small land, I won't able to build any well or I won't dig any canal for my land because I am holding only smaller land. For that, how much I will invest on that land? That is not possible. So lack of irrigation facility. And the last thing is loss of the land on the boundaries. For example, you are dividing a land with your brothers means then these parts of the land also you are going to lose because it is the entry and exit point for your land. So that is also affecting your land size, land capacity. So that is also one of the issue. Loss of the lands on the boundaries. So all these issues affecting the productivity of your land. Okay. Next thing is you have to speak about what is contract farming and land leasing. It is more than 2 lines is more than enough. So here it is. What is contract farming? It is means defined as the agricultural production carried out according to an agreement between the buyer and the farmer, which establishes conditions for the production, marketing of the farm products or products. So simply it is, consider that I am a lace making company. Okay, consider that I am a lace making company. What I will do is I will make a contract with the major farmers or else with any 2 to 3 villages. Okay, so what the contract will be is within this month I need this tons of potato. I need this tons of potato and the quality will be this like, for example, it should be around 5 inches and it shouldn't be have any chemical fertilizers, or else I need this much of quality and the quantity. So these are certain conditions I may put, and I will say that I will buy that uh, potatoes at this price around, for example, 1,000 rupees per ton. Such a way I will make an agreement. So that is called as contract farming. So what they will do is they will share the knowledges, and also they will share how to make cultivate the land, and also whenever you have to irrigate, they will share everything. And at the end of the day, they also prepare your products from your land itself. So that is the benefit of this contract farming, but it have major negatives also. We will discuss it. Next is land leasing. Land leasing is nothing but you have a land with you, but you are not ready to cultivate in your land, then you will lease the land. The person who are ready to do the farming activities, you will lease the land. That is about a land leasing. It is a commercial agreement in which users or a lease acquires the right to use the land in lieu of a certain amount of payment, has advantages of both for the farm producers as well as for the agro processing firms. So these are the two things that is going to help the small and the marginal farmers. How it is going to help us when it comes to contract farming? What they will do is they will just accumulate the land. They will make a contract with the major farmers on that region in such a way that will be beneficial for the small and marginal farmer. Same as like that of the land leasing. The land leaser, what they will do is they will acquire the land. They will make a contract with the farmer for 10 years or 15 years. I will lease this land and I will do the production activities and I will share certain profit with you. In such a way, they will make the lease agreement with the farmer or with the landowner. So that is the idea. In both the way, the small and marginal farmer will make a profit. So in such a way, that is beneficial for the small and marginal farmer. But it has major issues. But before that, what are the advantages here is it will bring more technologies and modernization. Obviously, when it comes to contract farming or with the land leasing, they are going to hold the larger land because sorry, consider that I am holding only 1 hectare of land and my neighbor having a 2 hectares of land and another one having a 1 hectare. Means what this land leaser or the contract farmer will do is he will just buy all this land. He will make a contract with all this landowners and he will do the farming activities. In that scenario, it is easy to invest in the technologies and modern equipments, because that is viable if it is they are going to make a huge profit on it. So in that scenario, the technology and modernization will be easy for them. So by the way, it will bring more technologies into that field. So that is one of the benefit. And also stabilize the prices of the farmer, because in the contract farming, in the agreement itself, they will say that after 6 months I will buy your produce at this price, and there will be sign of that contract farming. Okay, they will sign it. So that is also the benefit. So you will make a informed decision making. So that is also another benefit. Next, high yield and productivity. Obviously, you will have the higher productivity because of the infusion of the technologies and mechanizations, and also due to the fertilizer using and the pesticide using. The contract farming, what they will do is they will share the knowledges based on the R&D research. So they know what are the disease or pest that can attack that field. So they will share the fertilizers and the pesticides to that farmland. So that will increases the yield and the productivity. Next, bridge the forward and the backward linkage, about the connection between the seedings and also about the connection to the market. So that is also major advantages when it comes to the land leasing and the contract farming. And it will obviously it will lead to the growth of this food processing industry. So that is also one of the benefit that will leads to the employment opportunity also. So these are the major advantages when it comes to contract farming and land leasing. So these are the benefits. But when it comes to major negative here is, first thing is, consider that I am a small margin farmer and I am holding around 1 hectare of land. In reality, I don't have any bargaining power, because in my point of view, what I will think is, I am just holding 1 hectare of land, but they are going to do the mass production activities in 100 hectare of land. So in that scenario, how will I negotiate with them? That is the hesitation I will have. So I don't have any bargaining power. So what I will do is, I will just accept whatever condition they are saying. So that is the first major negative. So I don't have any bargaining power. Sorry. Next disadvantage here is, it's a monopsony. You have to note that word. Monopsony means it is a single buyer. When it comes to monopoly means it is a single seller in the market. For example, when the Jio came into the market, everyone criticized Jio as a monopoly. And also when it comes to monopsony means it is a single buyer, which means he is the only one buyer in the market. So whatever price he is negotiating, you have to accept it and you have to sell it. Without that, if you are not ready to sell to that person, means you can't sell it in anywhere. So that is the major issue when it comes to the contract farming or land leasing. Next, imposing highest standard in quality. That is the major concern. If there is any issue, what they will do is, issue is related to any market scenario, means what they will do is, they will impose the highest standard of your produce, which is not even possible. They will impose it on the farmer. That is the major negative. That is going to affect the farmer. And also it is a small and marginal farmer. They don't have any bargaining power also. Sorry. Next major issue is gender inequality. The gender inequality means mostly this land leasing and contract farming things will be end up only towards the men. It is not going to help for a women empowerment. That is also the major issue. So this is the disadvantages for the contract farming. When it comes to land leasing, the disadvantages are, first thing is, when it comes to land laws, land comes under the state list. So every state have the different way of land law. So the laws are different for every state. That is the major concern. So in that scenario, the major MNCs or the international companies, they won't make any agreements with this land holding or with that landlords. That is the major issue, because there is no uniformity of the law. That is also one of the major concerns. Another thing is, they also don't have the bargaining power. And another major issue is about the absentees landlordism. For example, consider that I am living in Chennai, but what I will do is, I having a land in my own village. I just lease my land and I won't watch my land what it is happening. In that scenario, the leaser, he will do whatever in that land. That will affect my productivity of the land. The soil quality may be affected. Consider that for high yielding, he is continuously using a fertilizers or a pesticides in my land, means in future my land will lose its fertility. It will become sterile. In that scenario, how I will make a productivity in a longer sense? That is also a major issue when it comes to the land leasing, because land leaser, what their major motive is to make a huge profit within the given time frame of that land leasing. So they won't consider about my land, the soil quality, or else the environment, or else the irrigation facility. Their focus only to make a huge production. So in that sense, my land productivity is going to be affected. That is also the major issue. And another thing is absence of land record. In rural area, many people lacks with this land records. That is also one of the major concerns. In that scenario, they can't go for this land leasing agreement also. So these are the major concerns when it comes to the land leasing. So this much of issues are there. Okay, for contract farming also and the land leasing also there are many issues, but still we need contract farming and land leasing for the growth of the small and marginal farmer. The reason is without that we can't make any huge change in their land. So what we need to have is we need to have a model code of contract farming act government recently introduced, and also model act for land leasing. And these two things need to address all the disadvantages of this contract farming and the land leasing. If the government is going to do that and every state government is going to implement that, means definitely we can overcome the issues of the contract farming and then the land leasing, and it will be a fruitful benefit for the farmers to make a huge production and also to make a huge profit. By the way, the contribution from the agriculture sector, the contribution from the agriculture sector to the GDP is going to increase. So by the way, it is going to increase the national income. So in such a way, you have to complete the question. Anyway, it is 10 more question, but it contains a lot of subsidiary questions. Within that, you have to address all the questions. Okay, thank you.